Hello and welcome to Real Menopause. My guest today is Lisa Stockman, a stylist extraordinaire from Melbourne, and we've met up in person to do something a little bit different for this episode. So we're in Selfridges in London. We've been beautifully looked after so far, and here is Lisa. So I would love to introduce her and allow her to introduce herself. Welcome.
Thank you
so exciting
so much.
You.
Oh my
Really
goodness,
lovely.
it's so great to be in London, and as I'd said to you earlier, I reached out to you because I went bonkers crazy with perimenopause probably about 8 months ago and was trawling around for information on how to alleviate my symptoms, came across Honey, and it's just so great to be here with you and share some styling tips for your audience.
Well, I was so touched when you did email me and said that you listened to the show and that it had helped, and then we got together on Zoom and had a conversation, and it was just right, we have to do this, we'll meet up and do something in person, particularly because the styling is so visual, so to actually see the clothes and to meet Lisa, viewers meeting her as much as us, was all very exciting. So how were your symptoms?
So it started with night sweats, but then I just thought that maybe my room was too hot. But the biggest challenge for me was not being able to think clearly. So it was getting the messages from my brain out of my mouth, and it was really simple words. I almost felt like I had dementia, like I couldn't think really clearly, and I found it a real struggle. And then it was mood. So and I went to my GP, and she was really dismissive of my symptoms. She said, "Well, you're not menopausal, you still get your period, so you can't really go on HRT." And I thought, well, but that can't be the only answer. And then I found a GP who was really great, and she actually explained what was going on a lot better. I listened to your podcast, I've changed how I exercise, I take magnesium at night, I'm just doing things differently.
And has it made a difference to you?
Huge. And also I have 2 teenage boys, and I've told them about what's going on with me because I think it's really important that they understand this is a normal part of life. And so if I'm losing my mind, there is probably a reason for it. And and they just take it as normal, so as they should.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And we're all working to normalise the conversation around female bodies and all the functions and everything that goes with it. So this happens almost every time I speak to someone. The words have dropped out of my head as well because I had a question. But I'll have to come back to it. So
Okay.
One question would be, how did you get, that was it, there we go. The confidence thing that we've spoken about a lot was a major symptom for me, and it still rears its ugly head, and I want to go and hide in the hole. But bringing confidence to women through the loathing, because it elevates your mood, it elevates everything about your day, it's how you perceive yourself, and then how you feel others perceive you as well sometimes. How did you get into that? Because it is such a gift to give somebody their confidence. How did you start styling?
Well, I have this memory from when I was 9 that I would, anyone who would put up with me to go shopping with me, it wasn't actually to buy things for myself, but I had this love of scanning racks in stores and being able to pick things out for people. And I sort of never really thought that everybody couldn't do that. And then about 15 years ago in Melbourne, I opened a denim boutique. And we specialised in denim and basic tops, and I had clients who would ask me to come and sort out their wardrobes from that. When I sold that business, I went back into the corporate space in working for big retailers because I love fashion and retail. And then I realised 5 years ago that I was a really bad employee because all I thought about were the clients that I saw on weekends. And then I just thought, I have to give this a go full time. So, you only live once, and I just did. COVID hit 6 months later, so that was really challenging, and I had to go within myself and say, well, how do I want to live my life? What's my purpose? And my purpose is to help women feel amazing about themselves in their authentic selves. And I pinch myself every day that I get to do the job that I do, because the moment when I see someone in the fitting room put something on, and as their shoulders go back and they just feel confident, it gives me goosebumps now.
Magic. So we are going to explore all of Lisa's talents, or as many as we can fit in, around selfridges. I do appreciate that the price point for some of these things is high, and we're here because it's an accessible space and it's fun and it's to fuel ideas. We are not suggesting for any moment that everybody has access. I don't. And I'm here, but not suggesting that everyone has access to this. But as you will gather later on, it's really the ideas, the cuts, and then how you can find the same or similar, very similar, certainly in terms of shape, but more high street, more accessible. So this is aiming to be tips, solutions for every midlife woman, if not even everybody out there, and to just give you some ideas and have some fun. As we talked a little bit earlier about your clients who are midlife and what they're looking for from you, how do you go about giving them back their confidence?
Well, I think the first thing for me is I'm so curious about people and their story. And so I spend my first hour with them getting to know them. And one of the weird questions that I ask them is, if you could imagine your future self, your best self, what would she be doing differently? How would she feel? What's something she would try that she's not trying now? What does she look like in your wildest dreams? And most people don't actually see themselves in that way. But once they think about it, they're doing all these things that they wish they could do. And I said, but you can actually do them now. And if the clothing is just a way that facilitates that, let's go for that. So I have an image of who that person is. And then I find things out about them, like, what are your hobbies? So when you're not the woman doing everything for everyone else, what lights your fire? And most people have let a lot of those things go. So they'll say, I used to be into yoga, I used to be into pottery, I love travel. And it's like, okay, let's get that back. So one of my clients was a lawyer, corporate lawyer, and she said, I used to do roller derby.
Oh my goodness. That's
and I was like, yes. So we got a suit for her, and then I got a printed t-shirt that had roller skates on it. So she could wear her blazer with the roller skates on the weekend and a pair of jeans. So there's still part of her that's there that maybe was lost for a while.
Wow, that's a really lovely story. And I love the way you do that just with clothes and something so simple. Jeans used to be a massive staple, certainly in my wardrobe. They're not anymore for me, but I know they are really an essential piece to have available to you.
Yes.
And they're also one of the most troublesome things to buy. I remember just after having my first daughter, so we're now looking at about 17 years ago, phoning up my sister and going, are skinny jeans still going to be in? I know they've been around for about a year, but I've never bought them because I was pregnant and this and that and the other. And are they? Anyway, they've lasted all this time. I don't know if they're on their way out now or if they went last year because I don't wear jeans anymore. But everybody I know has a take on jeans. How do you solve this whole conundrum of high waist, low waist, wide leg, straight leg, cigarette pants, if they still exist as well, skinny jeans? What do you do?
So I actually used to own a denim store in Melbourne. So denim is my... I used to say it's as horrific as buying swimwear for women because most women, with the thought of buying jeans, is just they'd rather give birth again. So jeans actually don't have to be scary, and I think whether skinny is in or wide leg is in actually doesn't matter. It's what you feel comfortable in. And in my experience with the women that I deal with, most women going through peri or menopause start to carry a little bit of weight around the tummy, and it doesn't matter what they do exercise wise, they feel that. So what I always suggest is, if you're not sure where to start, I always start with a mid-rise. Now, depending on the brand, that will depend on what that means. So a mid-rise typically is at your belly button. And American denim labels, their mid-rise is actually below the belly button. They call it a high-rise.
Okay.
So if you're shopping for denim and you're on your own, go into an amazing denim department like we're in at Selfridges and just say, I'm looking for something that's going to sit here. Because for every body, that will be different. I always think that in a wardrobe, if you only had one pair of jeans that defies a trend, it's a mid-rise, so whatever that is for your body, a slim leg, so not skinny and not straight, and a mid-blue. So something a little bit like this one. So this is a classic jean. I'm just going to put it here on the table. So the reason I love this one is because you could dress this up at night with a really cool top and a little heel and something, some great jewelry, or you could just as easily wear it on the weekend with a t-shirt. And it's just always going to look amazing. So it doesn't matter what body shape of client I'm dealing with. If they're starting from scratch with a jean, that's always my first stop.
How should they sit on a human being? Because one of the things I find very difficult to translate is looking at that and going, well, that's a straight leg on the hanger. What happens when you put it over hips and thighs? Should it be dead straight hanging all the way down, or should there be a curve? How should it sit?
Well, actually, where I start is with shoes, which sounds weird, but when I had my denim store, the first thing I would ask my customer is, what shoes will you be wearing with these jeans? And they would look at me like I was really weird. But if you're wearing, for example, a long boot that comes to the knee, you need to be able to tuck the jean in, so you would go for a skinny. Whereas if your normal footwear is a trainer or an ankle boot, then you want something that's not going to look so skinny, because you can end up looking a bit like a lollipop. Like, most women have bigger thighs, and then if it's too skinny, you just look exaggerated. So you want something that looks fairly straight. And when I say straight, it's from the knee down.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So this is actually slim straight, this one. If it was a straighter leg, it would actually be straight from the hip rather than from the knee. Yeah. But at the moment, on trend is very much the wide leg, much more of a relaxed fit. But I find for a lot of women, particularly if they are bigger, sometimes they feel like this is really sloppy. So I would always start with that slim straight, mid blue as your go-to.
And with a white t-shirt, can't fail. Or...
Cannot fail, yeah. And another tip on jeans, which I find really helpful, is when you're looking at size, every denim has different composition. The stretchier it is, the more it's going to give. And denim always gives in the bottom and in the knees where you put pressure on. So when you're trying it on in the fitting room, you want to be able to stick 3 fingers into your waistband, and then that will be a good size. And then you want to do a little bit of a yoga move to see if you can actually breathe.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I've got so many tips, but something I find really aging on women is culottes. Do you call them culottes in the UK?
Yes, I do. Yes. So almost like a skirt, but trousers divided. You can sometimes see that they're trousers, sometimes you can't. Yes.
Yes, but the thing with a culotte is that they don't finish at the ankle bone. They finish almost about this much above the ankle bone. It's really aging. So if you're looking at wearing a wide leg trouser, you want it to hit the ground. If it's a slim leg trouser, you want it to hit your ankle.
So when you're wearing shoes,
yes,
the length of the trouser is going to vary very much. I remember, again, I don't know if this still is a thing, but suit trousers for men, you used to, do you know what, I don't know if this has changed, but you used to have a break right at the top of the foot.
Yes, that's
over
right.
the shoe. It is still. Okay.
Yeah.
Translate that into trousers and jeans for women. With a heel, obviously, you're going to need a longer trouser. With a trainer or flip-flops or whatever makes you happy. A flat shoe, it will be shorter. Is there a clever trick as well to have the same jean for a heel and a sneaker?
I always go back to that slim straight. And where you want it to finish is right on your ankle bone. So there's a little bit of a gap between your shoe and your ankle, but you want it to sit right on your ankle. And then that way you can wear any shoe.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, and so when you're in the fitting room, always try jeans on with your shoes on. Most people don't. They stand there in their bare feet, but you can't get the visual of how it's going to look. Then you get home and it doesn't work. So always wear the shoe. If you were going for a trouser that's a really long one, what you need to think about is, what's the tallest shoe that I usually wear?
Okay.
And then you wanted to work with that.
I mean, I'm a big fan of the dragging on the ground. I know it does no good for the fabric, and if it's muddy or raining, then you soak up all the water into your trousers, but I love that. Does it matter with different shoes, or it just run with it?
I think run with it. I think when you have a gorgeous trouser like this, the key is actually the fit around the waist.
Okay.
Because if it's nice and tailored around the waist, it's just going to look fabulous. So that's what I would look for first.
And then you still have the option of a stiletto or flat.
Or a trainer. Like, trainers are just everywhere and acceptable in so many facets of life, which is awesome. And just on the trouser, I find a lot of women don't feel comfortable in jeans. And if that's the case, a trouser just elevates your look. So for example, if I had this trouser with a white t-shirt, like, that would look so gorgeous.
I love that, yeah.
But then I could just as easily go with more of a fun t-shirt like that.
Yeah, love that too.
And then one of the trends I love at the moment is the vest. You call it a waistcoat.
We do, but it's okay. We understand vest as well. But yes,
Waistcoat.
they're different things.
Yeah.
Waistcoat in the UK, vest in the US and Australia,
Yes.
and everywhere else has their own
vocabulary.
vocabulary.
So these are really sexy. So a lot of women say to me, "What top can I wear going out at night?" I mean, this done up with a great bra, and then your matching pant, and then you throw in like a little cute little bag. You're good to go at night. But then if it was daytime, I love putting like a really fun t-shirt like this one again. And then I'd put a trainer on and I'd go back again with that and a white trainer and it works.
Really gorgeous and fun and comfortable because I'm going to go from personal experience again. I don't like being uncomfortable. I don't like feeling trussed up, even if it's a special occasion.
Yeah.
I still want to be able to breathe.
Yes.
And my daughter as well has told me behind the camera, you just look so much happier and more confident when you're comfortable, no matter what it is, rather than feeling a bit awkward.
Yeah, I mean, you said to me earlier that you're not a big fan of jeans.
Not anymore.
So if you're my client, I'm not going to then say, Hattie, we're buying you 5 pairs of jeans, because you go home and just be unhappy and it wouldn't feel like you. It has to feel like you, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So that's what you try and do with everyone. I have to say one of the things I adore about London is people's expression of their authentic style. It's just so cool.
I think most major cities have that. I see it a lot here. I see it a lot in New York.
Yeah.
I mean, they're the immediate sort of standout. People just wear what makes them happy, what they enjoy, with complete self-expression.
Yeah.
And the freedom for that is, I mean, we should have more of that as midlife women rather than being told what to wear.
Yes. And so one of the things I love so much is seeing a woman walking with, can I swear on this?
Oh, yes, it's all everything goes.
My sister, who had to have an early hysterectomy, so she went through menopause very quickly. She said one thing her oncologist told her was tits out, shoulders back.
Okay.
Always tits out, shoulders back. And I noticed yesterday when I was walking around London, women of all ages were walking tits out, shoulders back. And with this confidence, walking down Oxford Street in whatever they were wearing. And I just thought, that is it. That's all you need.
Yeah.
Comfort and confidence. And you're done.
Yeah.
Whatever that looks like for you.
I do love that. We'll be watching the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel and its final season as well. And before she goes on stage, she and her manager say tits up, and they go on. And I just love that. So it kind of encompasses the same thing. And I know it means a different thing if you're going on stage. But the idea of being able to stand tall, I like that.
And also you breathe.
Yes.
So when your shoulders are back and your tits are out, you just breathe. And often we forget to do that.
Yeah.
This would be amazing on you.
I love the black. I'm very fond of black. But yeah, they're gorgeous.
So there's so many really easy tips that you can, when you're trying to style yourself at home. One of the things I say to all my clients is always think in outfits. So if you're buying something, you want to think of at least 3 things that you can wear something with. So for example, if Hattie was going to buy this gorgeous blazer, within the blazer you've got black, silver, white and blue. So automatically, if I love this blazer, I'd be thinking, okay, I can wear it with jeans, I can wear it with jeans for sure. I can wear it with black pants, white pants, I can wear it over a dress. So envisage what you have at home, and if you can think of 3 things that you can wear it with automatically, it's a go. So that's my first tip there. Then I would always say, a lot of women feel like they need to look slimmer, or they'll say, I need to lose a few kilos before I do anything. But actually there's a few styling tips that you can do at home that will make you look that way without having to torture yourself. And one of them is to wear all one colour underneath a different colour, because your eye is drawn up. So Hattie is, tall and slim, but for someone even my size, when I'm not tall at all, is if I wear all one colour and then a different colour over the top, draws the eye up and looks great. The other thing I would say is that your eyes go where the lines go. So one of the great things about these trousers is, see how you've got the darts here? It automatically draws the eye up.
That is so clever.
So sometimes when you buy jeans, they have those lines in the denim that go out that way.
Yep.
If you've got bigger hips and thighs, you don't want to be doing, because it's only going to draw your eye across where you don't want it to. So there are a couple of tips there. So you were telling me before that you love a slouchy look.
Oh, so much. It just makes me
Feels
happy
good.
and comfortable. And
Great.
And I love a large amount of fabric just because it feels luxurious.
Yes.
So I love these not just because they are really wide, but also because of the actual fabric and
Yes.
the texture and the sheen to them as well.
And
the
the
length
great
obviously
thing,
is great if I had heels on.
or if you
other
had a
shoes.
trainer
Yeah.
or your slides.
Mhm.
But the great thing about this is I would look at a pant like that and say, okay, it's worth the investment because of that sheen. I could wear this out at night, but then I could pair it back with a trainer and be really casual with it. So that to me is a good buy, and a black pant is an essential. With a blazer, I always think a lot of women, when they wear a jacket, they don't show their wrist, but you can have a look here. When you put your shirt or blazer up near your elbow, it actually looks a lot more styled than it does on this arm, if you can see the difference. The other thing I love about doing this is you see a bit more of the person's personality. So for example, with Hattie, she's got pieces of her life here, which are part of who she is, and her artwork. And this is all part of her personality. And I just love that. Whereas if this was down, I don't see any of that. And she looks less styled.
There's something that feels much more put together about this side as well.
Yeah.
It feels more. I don't know if it's more personal or more.
Do you know what it is too? It's you're actually approachable. So you know the expression, let's roll our sleeves up and get to work. That's exactly what it is.
Right.
So when you've got your sleeves down like that, you look far less approachable. As soon as you've got your sleeves rolled up above your elbow, you look like this kind of, I'm ready to go and I'm here and I'm open to you. So that's another way you can wear blazers to feel more approachable.
It really feels like it. I have a black blazer that I love that has this kind of sewn into it so that it is more like that. And I prefer the blazer, probably for the reasons that you've just said, than the ones that hang. And it kind of gives it more shape even.
Yeah.
Is there a trick, if you didn't want to turn them up, although I love this idea, this is my new favourite thing, to pulling it up and then keeping it
Yes. So I sometimes get from Boots or wherever, pharmacy, and get a hair elastic, put it on there, and just roll it up above your elbow, and the sleeve won't move.
Amazing. That is also my second favourite trick now.
But I often, this blazer doesn't have it, but I will often, if I'm buying a blazer for a client and it's their first blazer, I will often look for buttons that I can undo, because that allows for different styling options with the sleeve. And when you're looking at a jacket fitting you properly, you want it to sit on the edge of your shoulder. I think for most people that's the most flattering. There is a lot of oversize at the moment, but I find for a lot of women it's just they can't pull it off.
Well, if you're petite, then I suppose it could swamp you.
Yes, and if you're more of a fuller figure, it can actually make you feel even bigger. So if you're going for a classic blazer sort of shape like this one, I always look for the seam to sit right on the edge of the shoulder. And if you just turn around for me, here I'm looking so that I can move my arms. Because if I can't move my arms forward, if I can't do that, it's going to be too uncomfortable. Oh, and can we just go over this one thing? This is so usually with a blazer at the back or a coat, there's usually a stitch here. Can you see that stitch there? That's only there for transport purposes. So often I'll see people walking down the street with this amazing coat and they haven't unpicked that stitch, and that's for the movement of the fabric. Or they'll keep that, the tag on the sleeve that says like made in Italy. You don't keep that.
It's good to know. Little details. Yeah. And presumably they stitch these up.
Yes. Usually those are stitched up in a coat.
Faux packet.
Sometimes it's a faux one.
Yeah, you can put things in, but
not
too
don't.
many. Yeah.
Because I like to keep, I only buy things that I really love, and so I want to keep it.
Keep the line. Yeah. If you pack it out with stuff, it ruins the line.
Yeah. But this outfit, imagine if we put instead, like if we put a white t-shirt under this, it would look completely different. I love this. This is English.
Yeah. Yes.
Obsessed with me and M. I love this English like. You have such beautiful clothes. Yeah. Okay. A button-down shirt is always going to make you look elevated with a collar. And also, how we were talking before about how V-neck is universally slimmy. Well, it does that automatically. But you can style a shirt in so many ways. So remember we talked about the sleeve thing. I love this long cuff on this. So we want to be able to see the wrist. If it's a cold day, you just follow the line of the seam and you just do that. It's very simple. But then I could roll it up like I've done with my shirt and have it sitting higher. So it's easy. If Hattie was wearing, you call a vest a singlet, don't you?
Yes. No, we don't.
What do you call a singlet? Like a tank?
A vest top?
A vest top, a tank.
Yeah. A singlet is more. I thought that was an Aussie word.
It might be. We need subtitles.
Yeah.
If you had a white, for example, a white singlet, tank, whatever you call it, underneath, you could wear this open like a jacket.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's a really hot day or you get really hot, instead of wearing a blazer, you can wear it open like a jacket. And then it's all about tucking it in. So you can leave it out and oversized. All right, so let's do your fly
The basics of getting dressed.
All right, so see how. So this, I just have to move this sleeve. It's really bugging me. Awesome. All right. So at the moment we've got this shirt tucked in all the way. So you call that a full tuck. Okay. A lot of women, if they've got a bit of a tummy, they feel like it's going to draw attention to their tummy, but it actually makes your legs longer. But if you don't like a full tuck, you can do what's called a French tuck, which is where you undo just the back. And this also gives it a much more relaxed look. So as you can see, like from the side even, it just gives more of a drape in the back of the fabric, which I really love. So that looks really cute. Then you can do a quarter tuck. So sorry, I'm just undressing you guys. So then you just undo a button and you tuck in one side only, which is a bit tricky with a low rise pant, but you can just untuck one side. So Hattie's actually an unusual example in the sense that you like wearing things oversized and slouchy.
Mm-hmm.
And because of your frame, you can do that with ease. For a lot of women, what they do is they'll buy a top and they'll have it cover where they put on weight. For most women, that's hips and bottom. So I think we should talk about dressing in thirds,
Yes.
which doesn't apply for you because...
Well, because we all carry our body fat in different areas,
Yes.
I carry mine on my abs and my thighs. So when I do gain weight, that's where it goes. I know some women also, their bust grows really quite substantially with menopause, all down to hormonal reasons. They might not, or maybe they don't even gain weight, but it's just their boobs grow.
Yeah.
I envy those people, but I understand that it is not always fun.
No.
Tricks for tips for different areas.
So you know when you put an outfit on and something's not right, so you look in the mirror and you think, don't know what it is, usually it's proportion. You're right. So for most women, they carry their weight either around their belly or around their hips and bottom. And there's a design principle, think of the Eiffel Tower, it's designed in thirds. So most women dress in halves, so I can demonstrate with what I'm wearing today. So I've got some wool pants on and a shirt. So at the moment, I've divided my outfit from my chin to my toes in thirds. So my shirt is 1/3 and my legs are 2/3. So I'm dressing. But what a lot of women do, because they feel like they've got a big tummy or bottom, they do this. And they dress in half. So this is half and my legs are half. Now I know this isn't, I haven't ironed my shirt, but most women think they're just hiding what they've got to cover up, but actually it just draws more attention to their body.
So interesting. I've never even thought of thirds before.
So even if, let's say I had a really big tummy and I didn't want to tuck in, I can just tuck in a little bit on the side and I still get the 2/3 with one leg.
And it gives beautiful proportion and shape, and it takes you in at the waist, and your eye is all drawn upwards again.
Yes. And so I think that the one thing, a slogan I would remember is, like I said earlier, the eyes go where the lines go. So if your top is finishing here, and that's the widest part of your body, all you're doing is making it wider. And that goes for any shape. So if, for example, you've got bigger arms, and your arms, the widest part is here, never buy a top that finishes there, because it's just going to look wider.
And calves as well.
Same.
Yeah. And is that why culottes are quite aging? Because
Yes.
if they stop mid-calf,
Yes.
that's always the widest part. No matter how tiny your calves are, if it stops at the widest part, it's not.
But it's also hard to get the 2/3, 1/3.
Right, okay, yes.
So it's even things like jackets that finish halfway down your body is always going to be harder to get proportion right. So that's why when I look at someone's body, they're the lines I'm looking for. It's never a one size fits. Yeah, genius.
I do, it's brilliant, all these things.
If you struggle wearing heels, block heels, which are really on trend, they have been for a while and they will continue to be, that is a really stable and will enable you to walk. So that's a good heel option. And also a square toe, if you can't wear a point, will also be a good option for you for something like the office. And you can wear these with jeans or pants or skirts and dresses. So it's quite, a versatile option. So when you're choosing shoes, the shape of the toe of the shoe makes a big difference to how elongated your body looks. So for example, when you wear a pointed shoe like this one, it actually creates the lines actually go up your body and you look more elongated. So the rounder the toe, for example, a boot like that with this sort of rounded shape actually draws the eye down. So if you're a shorter person and maybe you're a fuller figure, this is not something that I would opt for unless you have really bad feet problems and you can't wear something a bit more pointy. The other thing is when you're choosing a boot, the height of the boot really makes a difference. So if it's finishing on the widest part of your leg, like this is actually a really tricky length of boot to fit because you can't wear jeans on top of it because then your legs will look really short. So it's always really good to try shoes on in person rather than buying them online if you can. Texture in a shoe.
Yes.
So something like this with denim and a white shirt would be amazing.
And neutral but interesting,
Yeah, so
without
not
drawing
boring.
focus, but pulling
Yeah.
good focus. And,
Yeah.
I think an awful lot can be done for your mood and just overall feeling with shoes.
Yeah.
And you can, white t-shirt, pair of jeans, and then you have an interesting shoe that makes you happy.
It just elevates, and it doesn't matter with weight fluctuations or hot flushes, a great shoe will always make you feel just...
And the way you carry yourself as well. You walk differently, the tits up, out, up, whichever way you want them.
Up and out.
In a good shoe.
Yeah. So so pretty. Oh.
Lisa, final question. Where can people find you?
So I use Instagram a lot, and that's Lisa Stockman Stylist. I try and put on as many tips and little videos as I can to help you. I think style should be accessible to everybody. And also my website, lisastockman.com.au. I'm on Facebook, not so much, LinkedIn, or email. Reach out. I'd love to hear from you.
I will leave all the details in the show notes.